Hi, all you SP-me's out there. Today's question has 3 answers, and the third answer is a secret as to how you can get the best of both worlds between self-published and traditionally published books. So let's get into it. The question that was sent in today is it better to self-publish or get a publisher? Now, this is an excellent question, which many people, when you've written a book, you're wondering what exactly should you do with that particular book? Should you attempt to self-publish it? Doesn't that require a lot of work and trying to figure out how to do this? And maybe it's sort of vanity publishing, so it doesn't have the same credibility. Or should you attempt to find a major publisher who can go about helping you get this book out into the market so that you can focus on writing and they can focus on getting the book sold and helping you build a reputation off of these books that you're producing? This is a very common question. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. Click the subscribe bell if you'd like for me to make more videos like this one, and check out my free self-publishing checklist below in the description that will help you on your self-publishing journey to make sure you don't miss anything. So let's get into it. When I first started self-publishing, I wrote my first book, and I didn't even consider to get it traditionally published because I don't know anything about that, but I did have a book that's commented on how easy it is to publish. I also was aware of other people who had already done it in my family alone, and so it made me realize that maybe this might be something I would like to get into. After I had published my first book and second book and third book, I began to follow podcasts and listening to people who were telling me different tips and tricks on how to go about selling more books, marketing your books. And that was when I became introduced to the community of people who are looking to get their books traditionally published. And one thing became very clear. It was that the profit was much lower and there was no guarantee they were going to be willing to market your books. And this led a lot of people to become frustrated. In fact, some people actually did get their books traditionally published, but then found that the publishers were unwilling to market their books to the audiences, to help them find new audiences. When they wanted to take control back from their books, to control the flow, the pricing, the covers, they were not allowed to since they didn't own the rights to it. And the total amount of money that they were paid, compensated for their books, was minimal. And so they were very dissatisfied. After a whole period of work and stuff, they were able to finally get the rights back. And so that was my introduction to traditional publishing. The other thing is the number of people who get rejected by traditional publishers, whether Stephen King or J.K. Rowling or the others who are in that same category, who submit their books many, many times and never manage to get their books published, not because of the quality, but because the gatekeepers simply have deemed their books not worthy of publishing or too high of a risk. So, is it better to self-publish or get a publisher? Well, there's a couple answers. The first is self-publishing is almost always a better solution unless you already have a platform. That is, if you already have people who are following you, large amounts of followers and people who are subscribing to your YouTube channel, then major publishers will pay attention to that and realize that your followers, your viewers, your listeners, they will be more likely to buy those books. And so it's less of a risk for a traditional publisher to take a chance on you and to publish your book. The other thing, though, is with self-publishing, you get much higher royalties, 70% with like Kindle publishing, as opposed to like only 10 to 15% on the traditional publishing for the books that you have. And so you have a much better control over that. You also can control the pricing of your books, the covers, the titles, the keywords, the descriptions, your distribution, all of your marketing efforts. These are things that you have an insane amount of control, and so that gives you the ability to ensure you're going to sell more copies of your book, unless you're already famous, which in that case, it's probably better to go with the traditional publishing. The other thing is, getting a publisher is better if your target audience cares about it, so that if your audience, the people who you're doing, let's say you're doing for business reasons, and you need to say, I'm a New York Times bestseller or something along those lines, then traditional publishing becomes a lot better for you. Like you're a professor at a university, and maybe doing traditional or self-publishing maybe is looked down upon within that community. Then your audience, then it makes it clear that you should go and shoot for the traditional publishing category. But that really is a minimal number of people. And the secret answer for today's question is you can always build a platform by self-publishing, getting your following, selling lots of books, and then move to traditional publishing afterwards. And this is what some people, and many people, have done in Amazon. They start with the self-publishing, and then they find a traditional publisher afterwards. And it's a lot easier because you can, once again, show them and prove to them you're going to be able to sell books because you have so many followers already. You're already selling a lot of books. It's a low risk, not a very difficult decision for traditional publishers to help and decide, yes, we're willing to sell your book. So, is it better to self-publish or get a publisher? Well, what have you found? Go and let me know below in the comments. I answer every question and every comment that you make. I'd love to hear what you have found. Have you tried traditional publishing or have you tried self-publishing? Go and let me know, and check out above me here for more answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.